Hello everyone, my name is Slothcakes and welcome back to some more Gundam Battle Operation 2 Quick Look tutorials. Now today in the hangar we have the Zaku Flipper. Now the suit came out a few weeks ago, but I did not get this through a pull. I actually got this through a silver crate, which is really interesting. I didn't know you could get like banner worthy suits from that. But luckily for me, now I can make a quick look about it. But for appearance, let's just get this out of the room. If you paint this with the right colors, this looks like the Scope Dog from Voltoms, and it's beautiful. A lot of people can really see the reference to Voltoms just because the banner logo for this guy when he was out is very similar to the opening of Voltoms, a specific scene as you guys can see. Very similar where both suits are pointing upwards, standing up on a pile of corpses. But enough of that, let's get into this lore. Now the Zaku Flipper is a Zaku Recon, which came out a little bit ago through a ranked mission. And it's just a Zaku Recon, but with better cameras, a better backpack, and actual weapons. It's one of the few Zaku Recons made for actual battle, and that's pretty interesting. Now moving to the stats, the Zaku Flipper has some very unorthodox stats. Let's start off with what it is. It's a level 1, 300 cost, ground and space raid type. And we look at its stats, we have very low health and low defense. This guy is made out of paper. However, we look at it, we're looking at some good speed, but the most important thing is his boosts. Melee boost isn't that good, but we're looking at a solid range boost. This is one of the few raid types like the Zuda that can play entirely into a ranged game. And that's mainly how he plays. He has some very solid ranged weapons, and you're a raid type that can just lay the fire onto people, and you really don't need to get too close and personal. However, moving on to his enhancements, the Zaku Flipper has some really good enhancements, where the max is 990, but the most important one's at 590, giving you the extra part slots. And as for builds, we're looking at 6, 7, and 7. Here's my build right here. You want to build some range stuff, some reloaders, and just keeping a distance, just because you can lay fire onto people, and some of his weapons do have good range to them, so that's a plus. Now moving on to the real bread and butter of the Zaku Flipper, and its amazing skills. And let me tell you, the Zaku Flipper has some really good skills. Now we're looking at very basic raid things. We're looking at 2 melee swings, maneuver armor, high performance radar, all that good stuff. But what's real important is at the end. We have observational data link, which makes it so you can see people's health bars, and if you can see them, your teammates can see their health bars, which is nice. But we're looking at stealth and jamming, which is also seen on the Afrit Noct. And just to go over them real quick, stealth makes it so you don't appear on the enemy's radar until a certain distance or they hit you, and jamming makes it that the closer you are to the enemy, the more staticky their radar becomes. But not only that, this suit has anti-stealth, which makes enemies' stealth ineffective, and anti-jamming, which makes enemies' jamming ineffective. And these skills are really great, because this makes the Zaku Flipper a great flanker, especially considering he has ranged weapons. He can just go in and out and dip and do so many things that we're going to get over. But anyways, let's just jump into training mode and really just show what this guy can do. Moving on to the Zaku Flipper's movement. The Zaku Flipper's movement is a little above average for a general type, but for a raid type, which it is, it's a little lacking. For a 300 cost raid, it should be a little fast in terms of speed and thrusters, but considering the Flipper can fight at a distance, this sort of makes sense. Plus, comparing things with jamming and having stealth, this is okay. But anyways, its turning speed is just as fine as a normal raid type. Moving on to its melee weapon, the blow. The blow is just fisticuff hands, and they do lack things like range, but just to go over them, we have 2 swings. Here's the left and right swing. They look pretty normal. The forward swing is this straight, it lacks range and can go over grounded enemies. And for the back swing, we're looking at a rising knee into a double hand downward swing. It's a very interesting backswing, and let's talk about it in a second. But I just want to show you guys its forward swing. This thing lacks range. If you're going to do forward swing and a backswing, you're going to have to be pretty close to do that. just because the Flipper doesn't take a step forward like the Zagok or a lot of amphibious or iron claw mobile suits, so you're gonna have to be really close to get the forward swing and the backswing. But now moving to the backswing is kind of interesting because it's a multi-hitting backswing, and if you want to go backswing into backswing, you're gonna have to time it right, just because as you see, he went into iframes before it could land. That's because you have to dash out of the backswing. And if you want to know where you can dash, when the hands come together, that's where you can dash out of it. So let me just show you in slow motion. Right there, when the hands touch, that's where you can dash out of it. So let me just show you guys. And you don't need to land a hit to dash out of it. And it's just a rough estimate of where you can do it. We're not going to go into frames and stuff, just because with latency, you can't really get this every single time. But if you do this, you can land backswing and backswing. As you see, I'm going to backswing, dash out of it, then I can backswing again, and the last hit can land. Now if you do this a little late, like I did, it's not going to work, so you just got to be a little bit faster. And anyways with this, the Zaku Flipper isn't going to melee as much as you think, because it's a good range fire, but this is good knowledge to know. Moving on to the Flipper's main weapons, we're looking at 3 main weapons you can equip. 2 out of the 3, the anti-air machine gun and the regular Zaku machine gun, can equip an underbarrel grenade launcher. We'll talk about this in a second, but I advise having it on your hotbar just so you can swap in and out of it. Just because it's helpful for combos, and the Zaku Flipper does have enough weapons where one weapon has to be left out hotbar. But anyways, moving on to the weapon, the anti-air Zaku machine gun is quite interesting. This guy and the Zaku F2, I believe, are the only suits that can use it. We're looking at an okay takeout time, 9 to 10 second reload time, and as you can see, we're looking at 8 shots per clip, and it has this slow rate of fire, but it does have good range, and when you hit something, it causes this nice little explosion. Now for what it does on a mobile suit, if you hit them twice with this gun, you get good damage, but you also get a stun, which is very nice, which is 3 stuns per clip if you land all your shots. But do know, because of the small reticle, you're gonna have to be accurate. This gun doesn't really lean into you with accuracy, so you're gonna have to have some good aim, or you can hold down the trigger, but this gun's rate of fire isn't that great, so really practice your shots so you can land those stuns. And for splash damage, this gun barely has any, so you're gonna have to be accurate. But if you have a good aim, this gun's great. Moving to his second machine gun, we're looking at the Zaku machine gun, which it also has an underbarrel grenade launcher. We're looking at 7 second reload time, 50 shots per clip, okay rate of fire, good sized ASL. It's a machine gun, there's not that much I need to really explain. We haven't covered the Zaku machine gun, but we've covered other machine guns. They all act very similar, except for like one does a little more damage, the other one has more pipe damage, other one does just more accuracy. It's just slight differences. Zaku machine gun, it's accurate with a slower rate of fire, but what it does on a mobile suit, you actually get some good damage on it. It's not the best weapon, but it's pretty okay. You have to land half your clip, which is 25 shots to get a stun, and that's fine if you're really looking for that. I still recommend the other one. Moving on to the underbarrel grenade launcher found in both Zaku machine guns. Now we're looking at 1.5 second takeout time, roughly a 14 second reload time, so that's quite long, and we're looking at 1 shot per clip. Now this is a decent gun, it really gets its job done, and for range we're looking about right here. It's pretty good. Slow moving projectile, the same speed as a bazooka, probably a little less, but its main reason you have it is simply combos, or combo, defense, and utility. On a mobile suit, surprise surprise, it stuns on hit. That's the whole purpose of this weapon. It's a combo tool, a defense tool, it's solely used for the stun. Moving on to his last main weapon, the Zaku Bazooka, and this is a very standard bazooka, nothing really special. We're looking at 1.5 second takeout time. In between shots you're gonna have to wait 6 to 7 seconds, and we're looking at a 12 second reload time. It's a bazooka, there's not really that much to go into. We're looking at 8 shots per clip. It's just as a whole a weapon that you stun people with and go in for various other things. It's very simple and straightforward. Now moving on to the Stormfrost. This is one of its internal weapons, and the Stormfrost is just a stick with a rocket at the end of it. Now we're looking at a 3-second takeout time, and it has 1 shot per clip. You shoot it, it's a slow moving projectile, but it has a good blast to it, and we're looking at a very long and hefty 14 to 15 second reload time. So I do recommend some mods, just because this is a pretty good weapon as it is. Now you're going to note that you are firing it from the hip. The mobile suit does not hold it forward, it sort of just casually has it hung down, so do note if you're trying to hide behind things. And as for distance, it's much closer to the left target than it is the right one. And all of its weapons can shoot in the air, including this one. Now something to do note I said a little bit ago was it's firing it from the hip. So if you're behind the building, make sure the building's above your hip. But if you are crouching, you're gonna shoot the weapon out of your knee. So if you're crouching and you have the Stormfrost out, make sure there's nothing in front of you, because you're gonna hit and stun yourself. But anyways, for what this weapon does on a mobile suit, it's similar to the grenade launcher. You're gonna shoot it, you're gonna do some okay to solid damage, and you're gonna get a good stun. Now moving on to a very strange and I believe underused weapon, the camera gun. Now it has a fast takeout time, and this weapon is only exclusive to the Recon Zaku and this guy. And as you see, 1 shot will overheat this weapon, and for overheat time, we're looking at 14 close to 15 seconds. It has a hefty overheat time, but it's a very strange weapon on what it actually does. As for range, it's pretty good for range, can hit a target all the way over there, but if you figure out what it does, it makes sense that it has a good range. But yeah, as you see, nothing's gonna happen just because these are targets and not mobile suits. Now, what it does on a mobile suit, this is gonna be strange. It does no damage and 0 stun. But when you land it, you get a little thing called spot. And if you ever played Battlefield and you know how you can mark enemies for your team, it's similar to that. As you see, the enemy's behind me, but it still shows me spot. And I'm behind a building and it still shows me spot. That's because when you mark an enemy with spot, it will show to your entire team where they are and how much health they have. As you see, I'm all the way over here and I can still have the spot on them. Now you can shoot them again to refresh it, and you can shoot multiple enemies. And it's a very interesting support weapon. And just to show you guys how long it lasts, this is sped up by a lot because this actually lasts quite some time. How long? 45 seconds. So that's insane considering you can get multiple spots by the time one goes off. Now moving on to combos, the Flipper doesn't have that many combos. I'm mainly using the AA gun because it's the most complex. You can grenade launcher or Stormfrost into more shots, and if you land enough shots you can get another stun. From there you can melee or just keep on shooting. He has a walking stun too. Just do note you can also use the bazooka or the main gun, but if you're using the regular machine gun it's not gonna stun, and if you're using the bazooka it's gonna take longer and it's gonna be shorter. Now Stormfrost into grenade launcher, into shooting with the AA, you can just keep on shooting or wait for a stun and go for a melee. None of this is guaranteed, but you know, you're going to be moving around, walking around, doing all that good stuff. So you know, you could do this if they're slow enough or if you're just out moving the enemy. Now if you're using the bazooka, Stormfrost and the bazooka isn't guaranteed, and they could easily get out of it. So I just highly recommend the AA gun. Now another thing is melee into AA gun. Now for bazooka, machine gun, you could easily just shoot them, but with AA you want to get as much shots as possible. If you let the whole backswing rip, you only can get 2 shots, but if you boost out as soon as possible, like this, you can get 3 shots in. As you see, and that's extra damage, because you still get the 2 shots from the melee swing in. Now some more combos he has is just, you know, moving around and stuff, but I want to show you guys his full combo against a support. This is really the main thing because a support really can't get out of it that easily. You're going to Stormfrost from behind them, move around, grenade launcher them, unload your AA, or wait for the stun, then go for a melee. And you can do some great damage if you do that. But the real big thing is keeping on your toes, surprising enemies, and just hitting them as hard as you can, then leaving. Because remember, you have stealth and jamming, so you have the element of surprise on your team. And for his counter, here it is. Nothing special, it's the knee, then the downward swing, it's alright. But anyways, thanks for watching. Now the Flipper is a pretty good suit in my opinion. I like using the AA gun, I feel like it's the best gun it can equip. I feel like the camera is also underused, but I'm gonna have a gameplay out soon, so don't worry about that. I don't use the camera that much, so spoiler ahead. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoy making these. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out my channel for other Battle Operation 2 or mecha to non-mecha related stuff. My name is Slothcakes, enjoy your guys' day and have a good one.